How's everyone doing? This is Laura from Keynnect, and welcome back to another presentation in the trucking business. Today, we're talking about something that's, well, it's pretty tragic, but it's also remarkably solvable. We're diving into underride crashes involving large trucks, what they are, why they happen, and exactly how we can stop them. So, what is an underride crash? Well, picture this. A car doesn't hit the back of a truck. It slides underneath it. And when that happens, all those safety features we rely on, the crumple zones, the airbags, the whole shebang, they're completely bypassed. That's what makes these collisions just so uniquely catastrophic. And the result of that? It's absolutely devastating. According to federal data, we're talking about more than 400 lives lost in the US every single year to these highly preventable crashes. Over 400 families every year. This visual really says it all. See, in a normal collision, your car's front end is engineered to crumple and absorb that impact. But in an underride, the truck's trailer just slices right over the hood. The windshield becomes the first point of contact, and those life-saving safety systems, they never even get a chance to deploy. So yeah, this isn't just another type of car accident. It is a catastrophic failure of basic safety design, and it turns what could have been a survivable crash into something completely unsurvivable. And the data is just stark. Sources are really clear saying these collisions are among the most deadly on the road, frequently resulting in severe injury or death. But here's the thing, and this is the important part. We already have the solutions. Alright, so where do we start? Well, the solutions begin with the people behind the wheel. Let's look at that first line of defense, the actions that truck drivers and the companies they work for can take right now. For truck drivers, it really boils down to a pretty straightforward safety checklist. First up, visibility. Just keeping lights and reflectors clean makes a huge difference. Then, signaling your intentions, using hazards when you're slow or stopped. Of course, maintaining space is key, and just staying constantly vigilant, checking blind spots. These simple things can prevent a dangerous situation from ever developing in the first place. But, it's not all on the drivers. Trucking companies themselves have a massive role to play. This is about building a true culture of safety, with comprehensive training, with rigorous vehicle inspections, and with strict policies like absolutely zero tolerance for distracted driving. Okay, so beyond the human element, there are some very direct engineering solutions. This brings us to the actual physical hardware that can and absolutely does save lives. And right away, we find this huge, glaring gap in US regulations. Look, we've required guards on the back of trucks since 1998, but the long, exposed sides of a trailer, there's still no federal requirement for protection there. It's just a massive, unprotected space. And when you dig into the details, you really see what we're missing. So rear guards have gotten stronger, which is great, but side guards? Research shows they can cut the injury risk in about 75% of serious side crashes. That's huge. And then you have front guards, which are required in Europe and recommended by our own NTSB, but still not required here. Now, physical guards are critical for when a crash actually happens. But what if we could prevent the crash from ever happening in the first place? This is where active safety tech really comes into play. We're talking about things like automatic emergency braking, or AEB, which can literally stop a collision before it happens. You've also got blind spot monitoring, and even just better lighting and reflective tape to make these massive trucks way more visible at night. And the potential impact here is just mind-blowing. According to NHTSA, just by equipping heavy trucks with automatic emergency braking, we could prevent over 11,000 crashes every single year. So the solutions, from better driving to better tech, they're all crystal clear. But that really begs the question, if we know how to fix this, what's taking so long? Let's take a look at the road ahead. The path to getting these regulations in place has been just incredibly slow. Rear guards, mandated way back in 1998. Great. But for side guards, the NTSB recommended them in 2014. It took until 2022 for the DOT to even begin studying them. And as of today, there's still no federal requirement. And let's be clear, this is not some new, unproven idea. To put it in a global context, the European Union has required side guards on their trucks since the 1980s. What has been a standard safety feature there for decades is still considered optional here. So it all just boils down to this, really. The technology exists, the data is clear, the solutions are available right now. Which leaves us with one final, pretty powerful question. We have the proven solutions to prevent hundreds of deaths on our roads every year. Looking at all the evidence, you have to ask, are we as a country moving fast enough to actually implement them?